All right, let's dive straight into this, shall we? Welcome to our explainer on a truly fascinating paradox in modern romance. Today, we're unpacking a deeply profound psychological profile, dating the female empath. It's a journey that challenges pretty much everything we've been taught about modern relationships. And by the end of this, you're going to understand exactly why this specific dynamic is so intensely complex. There's this saying that dating a female empath is like holding a mirror to your soul. And, what's really interesting here is how perfectly that captures the core contradiction we're looking at. Most men claim they want a partner who is genuinely kind, deeply compassionate, and emotionally present. But when they actually get it, wow, it is a massive shock to the system. The reality of being with a woman who feels absolutely everything often triggers this sudden instinct to just pull away. So that begs a pretty massive question. If men say they want this deep connection, why on earth do they run from it? We're going to unpack this strange, often painful irony. We really need to understand why the exact traits that make these women such incredible, loyal partners are the very same qualities that leave men feeling overwhelmed, exposed, and totally unprepared. To do that, though, we first need to define what we're actually dealing with. To really get this, you have to understand that she operates on a completely different frequency. We're talking about a highly perceptive partner who doesn't just hear the words coming out of your mouth. She feels your energy and your unspoken thoughts. Imagine coming home and saying, "I'm fine," but she instantly senses the stress you're trying to hide. For a guy who's used to keeping things surface level, this feels like his armor is literally being stripped away. She can sense a lie before it's even fully formed in your head. And man, that level of exposure can be absolutely terrifying. All right, Section 1, the culture shock. Let's look at how this empathic reality collides head-on with everything we're taught about modern dating. Because let's face it, we're looking at the ultimate culture clash here. On one side, average men are heavily conditioned to be guarded. You know the drill. Keep your feelings tucked away so you don't look weak. Play those exhausting games like waiting 3 days to text back, just testing the waters. But the empath's reality? She requires a high-definition, immediate, and totally exclusive kind of love. She literally doesn't have a halfway button. While he's busy dipping his toes in, she is all in from day one. And unfortunately, men often mistake this intense, rock-solid loyalty not as a compliment, but as a cage. Now, because she's so incredibly perceptive, she naturally asks a lot of questions. She wants to know the why and the how behind things. A simple, "I'm fine," just isn't gonna cut it when her intuition is screaming that you're hurting. Men often feel like they're being put under a microscope or even interrogated because they just want to get to the point. But what they're missing is the whole reason she's doing it. Her deep curiosity is actually a vital search for safety. She's actively looking for a firm, transparent foundation where she can actually trust you with her heart. And that need for a secure foundation, well, it brings us right to her unfiltered honesty. She is hardwired for truth at a cellular level, which means polite little white lies just aren't in her vocabulary. If she senses a shift in your energy, she is going to address it immediately to strengthen the bond. However, because she speaks so directly, this laser-like precision can super easily be misunderstood as criticism. It feels like an attack to the ego, when in reality, she's just trying to save the relationship from the shadows of dishonesty. Moving on to Section 2, the power struggle. As things get more serious, we enter a phase where her unique traits start creating some unexpected friction. First off, do not make the mistake of confusing her sensitivity with weakness. Not at all. Because she spends her entire life processing everyone else's heavy energy, she's been forced to become incredibly self-reliant just to survive. She takes real pride in handling her own business. But this fierce independence can severely intimidate a partner who has this deep psychological need to be the traditional hero or provider. When a man realizes he can't just manage her world for her, he can feel redundant, mistaking her incredible self-sufficiency for a lack of intimacy. And that independence ties right into what we call the fixer mentality. An empath naturally looks past the surface, right? She sees her partner's untapped potential. She sees the incredible man you could become. So her ultimate act of love is gently nudging you with these life upgrades. Maybe it's tweaking your diet, fixing your sleep schedule, pushing your career forward, or trying to unpack some old emotional baggage. But for a man, this can build a massive wall of resentment. He doesn't want to feel like a self-improvement project. He just wants to be accepted exactly as he is. Which brings us to Section 3, the vulnerability and the payoff. This is where we explore the tragic ironies of her emotional profile, the heavy walls she builds, and the relentless fights she wages for love. You see, she has this almost supernatural ability to see hidden potential. She's a natural-born fighter. When it comes to the people she loves, she isn't just gonna walk away the second the spark dims. She will pour her absolute soul into a relationship long, long after it hits the breaking point. She stays, and she fights because she truly, deeply believes her love has the power to heal broken connections. But unfortunately, this is exactly where her greatest strength completely backfires. Because she point-blank refuses to give up, she gets trapped in this tragic persistence cycle. She forgives repeatedly, and she ends up staying in toxic or one-sided situations for far too long. And what happens next? The partner starts taking her constant, unwavering presence for granted. Instead of seeing her as this highly valuable partner, her relentless persistence actually causes her to be viewed as desperate or even disposable. She completely drains her own energy trying to revive a connection that honestly was meant to end. Think about it like this. An empath lives with her nerve endings totally exposed to the world. Because she feels the highs and lows of life with like 10 times the intensity of the average person, falling for the wrong person isn't just a minor setback for her. Her heart doesn't just bruise, it literally shatters into a million pieces. And because she knows that, she's developed a highly sophisticated emotional guard to protect herself from total emotional catastrophe. So, how does she protect herself? With a high-level security check. And this defense mechanism is often completely misunderstood. Early on in dating, a guy might find her observant, reserved, maybe even a bit detached or hard to read. He naturally assumes she just lacks emotion. But in reality, that silence is her security system at work. She is actively observing, scanning his energy, and testing his consistency to see if he's actually a safe harbor. Sadly, most men lack the patience to scale this wall. They want instant intimacy, so they just walk away, never realizing what was waiting right on the other side. But here is the ultimate relationship payoff. If a guy is actually willing to put in the time, if he shows consistent character and bypasses those initial layers of caution, he unlocks an absolute treasure chest. The payoff is just extraordinary. He gets to witness this guarded woman transform into the most vibrant, emotionally present, and fiercely loyal partner he will ever know. It's the kind of once-in-a-lifetime connection that literally changes the entire way you see the world. Ultimately, dating a female empath is a high-stakes journey. It demands a level of emotional maturity that, frankly, most modern dating advice just doesn't prepare us for. She doesn't need you to be perfect, but she is definitely going to challenge your ego and completely strip away your masks. Which leaves us with one final, incredibly provocative question to ask ourselves. Are you brave enough to be real?